Hello, good morning. Another thought for the day? Monday. Well, you've just stepped off the plane, come out of the arrivals hall, and what are you greeted with apart from the heat? The moment you are delivered to your hotel and you spend a few moments before you get over your jet lag, and you go down to the street, and before you know it, somebody comes up and asks you for this as a handout, like he wants some money for food. Of course, it's his job, and his job is to extract some cash from you, and they're very good at it. The woman who's standing there looking bedraggled, maybe a small child in her arms, a sort of a wishful look in her eyes. She wants money to feed the child. Now, you could say, of course she does, she's so poor. But you've just come to a land where there is a lot of poverty. And every day they face the decision as to who to feed first. And of course, you've just come to retire here. Maybe you've just come for a holiday, but let's talk about the ones that have come here to retire. You come here to retire and you have a little nest egg that you've worked hard to save. And also you have a pension, hopefully. Now, did you work for all those years, those decades, just so that you give it away and be Mr. Nice Guy in the Philippines? I don't think so. And therefore, you need to learn very, very quickly. Once you start something, it's very hard to turn back. Once you allow yourself to become sort of smothered by this feeling of guilt that you need to help this poor person standing in front of you, then really there is no hope for you. Your wallet is going to be empty very shortly. Now, the thing to remember is that smile nicely. Don't look away from them, but just smile nicely and say, sorry, no. If you want to not just say no, just say, sorry, no budget, right? Now, they may well persist, but the reality is that if you just keep walking, they'll try another victim. And this is what they do for a living. And unfortunately, you are seen as somebody who has a wallet that is overflowing. So of course they're going to ask you. 5 Filipinos walk down the road and there's a big tall foreigner standing in the way. And who are they going to go to first? You, I'm afraid. Now let me tell you a little story. When I first came here to Negillion, I was wandering around looking at the price of motorbikes. And before too long I got friendly and talking to the guy who was running it. He was a manager. He told me he was on 30,000 pesos a month. At the time I thought, oh, that's pretty good money for a Filipino, as I would understand it. Of course, now I've been here 7 years. Very unlikely he was on 30,000. But the reality was, that's what he told me. What he was doing, of course, was setting the groundwork for the big sting. Because he took my phone number, and like a fool I gave him my phone number, my real phone number. And therefore, he was able to send me a message saying, please sir, can I speak to you privately? And I'm thinking, I wonder why. Had no idea in my mind that he was going to put the hard word on me. In fact, when I got back there, maybe half an hour later, he then said to me, can I borrow 30,000? Now, of course, the first word I heard was borrow. But at that stage, I didn't know that borrow means can I have. Because can I have means you don't have to pay it back. Borrow is another word for that. And after a few minutes of uncomfortableness on my behalf, I finally said to him, "I'm sorry, I have no budget for that." And I had to leave it like that. And he looked a little bit upset, but at least I walked away with my 30,000 intact. Now, if I hadn't done that, how many times would he have come back to me and asked again? Maybe after he'd paid me back eventually for what he borrowed. But you have to be so careful, because every time someone asks for something here, there's a hidden agenda. They see it as a soft touch. A foreigner can afford to give away $10, $20, $50. No problem. It's no skin off his nose. Well, actually it is, because all of those add up. Certainly over a month times the number of people in a day that will ask you. You only have to wander around a market and you'll see ladies dressed as if they've come from Mindanao, Muslim, and they have a very, very small child there, again begging for money. And you see Filipinos giving them money. But I'm afraid you won't see this foreigner giving them money. I might suggest I'll buy them a small bunch of bananas, something to feed themselves with. But I won't, beyond maybe also sitting them down for a meal. But I will not hand out cash. I'm not somebody else's ATM. So we have to really, really learn, not only within our relationships, to say that word, but also in relation to people borrowing money from you, people begging money from you. It's not being mean, it's not being unkind, but the reality is we have to be strong. Otherwise, all our money will just disappear. And we are not, as I say, we are not an ATM. So learn that very important word, no. Sorry, no. Everybody understands that, no. Right? Okay? So when you come here to the Philippines, remember that word I told you. It'll be the most important word you've ever heard. You hope she doesn't say that too, don't you? But anyway, you have a good day and give us a thumbs up. Are important. They bring you guys back and they bring new ones here. So thumbs up again. Like, share and subscribe. So we'll catch you later. Maybe tomorrow. Bye now.